Ready to get going here at Liberty High School. Game number 3, day number 2 of the Les Schwab Invitational. Newby and Stein calling the action.
Well, we talked about it a little bit earlier before this game gets going, Brad, that Peninsula might have the most creative looking uniforms that we have. Those bright lime green.
I like it. It's a Seattle thing. It's a Washington thing.
Oh, yeah, it's very nice. They're
Absolutely.
called the Seahawks, too. Keep that Seattle thing going.
That is true. Good observation there, Newby. I knew you were good for a lot of things. I see Jimmy Ritchie passes over to Olsen Urban. They're going to move the ball around Peninsula, get a good shot. There's the first three-point opportunity, and it's Jacory McLaughlin. That's the guy that Lake Oswego is going to have to really key on. Big-time player. He is verbally committed to the University of Washington. He's only a junior, and he's already a hot recruit. Lake Oswego 4-1 this season under head coach Mark Schaff in his 20th season. And the first shot is missed by Johnson.
Jazz Johnson, that guy number 22, between him and McLaughlin. That's the matchup to watch today. Jazz Johnson committed to play at the University of Portland, but he is the leader on this team.
And we have a first turnover of the game, and that belongs to Peninsula. The Lakers will take over just on our way. 7 minutes left, 3-0. That's the score. Lakers trail. Jazz Johnson, the point guard, 5'10" senior. They're going to move the ball around. Also, Graver. Both teams have excellent teamwork. You see, that's Oppenheimer, 30. I refed him playing flag football in a Lake Oswego league a couple years back. Looked like he's really grown. 6'3" now. That ball is out of bounds, still belongs to the Lakers.
Boy, I tell you what, it's just outstanding matchups anywhere that you look on the bracket. Not only both the individual talent, but the quality of these teams. It's a fun one to watch.
Yeah. Evenly matched, and Parker's fouled. It's another player to watch is Zach Parker. He's undecided right now. He's a senior, 6'3". Had an outstanding junior year last year. Got to call about 2 or 3 of his games. Very good. And here's Parker. He's going to pull up from the elbow, and Parker rolls out. Battling for the rebound, comes away offensive. That's Max Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer back out to Parker. Parker to Jazz Johnson, triple, and that goes out. Oppenheimer working hard on the boards. I taught him well by calling a lot of flag guards in flag football about 3 years ago.
Well, Max Oppenheimer, the 6'3" senior, you mentioned it, working hard on the offensive glass. That time you sent Garrett Smith to the floor, but no call. And he's earned himself a trip to the line instead.
Last year when we called his games, I remember I recognized him. I'm like, why isn't he starting? He got a few minutes here and there, mop-up duty, but now he's starting. Big number 30. Oppenheimer makes 1 of 2. Lakers trail by 2 early with 6:25 left in the first. What a finish to the previous game, game number 2. You must have had a blast calling that game.
That was a different type of game to call based on all the momentum changes. I mean, a 17-point lead in the second quarter nearly dwindles.
Here comes Parker as he's fouled. Got the steal in transition, and that foul is going to be on number 3, Garrett Smith.
I'm interested to see what type of play that Lake Oswego wants to employ against Peninsula. If they want to keep going up and down the pressure defense, force a lot of turnovers, that is common at the high school level especially. But if they do that, even if they do press the issue, they're going to have to make their free throws.
And Parker makes 1 of 2 so far. The Lakers are 2 of 4 from the stripe, trailing 3-2. Just on their way at Liberty High School in Hillsboro, Oregon. Les Schwab Invitational 2014. Excellent crowd today. Inside, you see Jimmy Ritchie, one of the big guys, 6'9" junior, the center. That's out of bounds. Good defense by the Lakers to prevent Ritchie, but he is going to be working hard in the paint. Jimmy Ritchie hasn't committed yet, but Gonzaga and Washington State for baseball are the possibilities.
Washington State now building a very respectable baseball program, so Ritchie was going to have a good decision on his hands.
Multifaceted athlete, Jimmy Ritchie. You see Ritchie throws the pick. Elijah McLaughlin, there's 2 McLaughlins. Yes, they are related, they're brothers, and that is Jacory. Ja'Cory, right court, is going to pass it inside to Richie. Careless pass, and that is intercepted by Graver. Here come the Lakers in transition. Graver off the glass. Nice shot.
Not your conventional fast break, but Graver decided the best way to get to the rim was the runner off the window, facing up to the rim.
Whatever you can do to get a basket, especially in a game like this. There's a three-point opportunity, and the shot by Garrett Smith buries the first triple.
I'll call it a long two.
Oh,
There's a foot on the line there.
5-4 Peninsula on top of the Lakers. Jazz Johnson kicks it back out to Drew Todd. Todd lets that rip way off. A little bit too powerful with that shot. And here come the Seahawks, led by Olsen Urban, the junior guard. Under head coach Jake Johnson, former teammate of Kevin Love.
Oh, hello.
Oh, whoa, nice move. Can't finish. And Zach Parker comes away with some glass.
That draws some oohs and ahs from the crowd. Great penetration.
Johnson's fouled before he traveled.
But Ja'Cory McLaughlin, great ball handling skills down here on the offensive end for Peninsula. He did everything right but finished. We saw a couple of those similar types of plays last night in the Wheeler versus Liberty matchup. Really excited to see what McLaughlin and this man at the foul line right now, Jazz Johnson, bring to the table.
Lake Oswego returning all 5 starters. Lost in the second round last year of the playoffs. Of course, when you return all 5 starters, your expectations start to build and increase. They are going for a state championship, and that's how it always is in Lakerville. Ja'Cory McLaughlin at the top. Defended by Drew Todd. Here he comes right. McLaughlin pulls up from 16 and buries that one.
Mentally file that move away right there. The right-hand dribble, step up after a couple of hard steps, pull up from about 17 feet. McLaughlin's got that range.
With 3:51 remaining, 7-5 Seahawks lead over the Lakers. Jazz Johnson handling the ball. Waiting to make his move. It's Rodney Honchell, number 4. Back out to Honchell, moving around Zach Parker. Takes a drive, loses the ball, and he steps out of bounds. A turnover on the Lakers. Ball goes back over to the Seahawks.
Unfortunate mishap there from Parker because he did a nice job to utilize the pump fake to allow himself to split the double team. Faked the pass out to the outside, gave himself a little bit more room to get inside. And when you got a team like Peninsula, it's rotating hard out on the perimeter. That's the type of move that you will have to do.
Garrett Kingman at the ring is going to go inside. Back to give and go. Nice play. Jimmy Rollins has the rebound. Jimmy Ritchie, uses the glass, misses another easy one. Finally cleared away by Zach Parker. Ritchie, not Rollins. Correction on that one. Here comes Jazz Johnson. Goes right off the glass. He's fouled. Just misses a layup, and he'll go to the stripe for a pair.
I was going to say, Jimmy Rollins got that rebound, man. That guy's everywhere lately. But a great move by Jazz Johnson on the other end to get himself a trip to the line.
You see Ritchie attacking the glass, also a good passer, but hasn't finished. Now Johnson has an opportunity to tie the game, and that opportunity has passed on this possession.
As you see on that replay, he nearly got that one to go as well. It's already a couple missed free throws, though, for Jazz Johnson. As a senior point guard, you'd like to see him be a little bit more consistent early on from the charity stripe as we enter into a timeout.
Timeout called by the Seahawks with 3:09 left in the first. 7-5 Peninsula lead.
Early action as we see it here with the 2-point game. You see that runner in the lane. A little bit out of control, but he was able to get that to go.
And there's a spot-up jumper from the corner.
Both McLaughlin Butters on the scoreboard, and that's the play I was talking to you about just a moment ago, that right-hand dribble drive. When you go to the right side hard, take a couple steps, and then pull up. It's such a rhythm play for guys that are good shooters from the perimeter. You see Damian Lillard do that all the time on the NBA level.
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry as well. Being able to shoot off your own dribble is a key, and that was a nice play that time by McLaughlin.
The last time the Lake Oswego Lakers have won the state championship here in the great state of Oregon was in 2006. Can they do it again? Returning all 5 starters, your expectations are to win a championship.
Oh, we just had
some lights go out.
A Mercedes-Benz Superdome moment. Actually, that might have been intentional now I think about it. Leave the broadcasters in the dark, but now it's kind of got that Madison Square Garden feel to it.
That's nice. It's cozy.
I'll take the MSG.
I can still see. Could you?
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, now they're coming back on. Just a tease.
Johnson makes 1 of 2 from the stripe. 7-6. Lakers trail by 1. Early, though. Garrett Smith drives, gets the shot, count the basket. Nice play, Garrett Smith in the lane.
Nice body control from Smith. Able to absorb the contact and still get the shot off. A soft roll in.
And Smith completes a 3-point Peninsula builds a 4-point lead, 10-6, 2:56 remaining in the first. Newby and Stein calling the action for Portland SportsBeat. Les Schwab Invitational 2014. That's Rodney Honchell, double team. Now he gets it to Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer, nice bounce pass inside to Elliott. He doesn't get it to go, but there is a foul called.
It's going to be on the rebound.
Yep, it's going to go against the Lakers. Loose ball foul. Non-shooting ball goes back to Peninsula.
Jefferson and South Salem to tip off following the conclusion of this one as well. South Salem just entered a moment ago, and they're seated in the section to our right.
Here's a loose ball, fighting for it. Peninsula just gets it away to Ja'Cory McLaughlin. Ball's in great hands with McLaughlin. No shot clock. Oregon rules high school. Long three-pointer, a little bit too strong with that one, but an offensive board by Austin Kingman. And they're going to reset Peninsula with the ball. Going to go cross court. There's Garrett Kingman. Kingman thought about pulling up. Now he passes it to Austin Kingman. His brother, nothing but the bottom of the net for a triple.
Boy, Peninsula with a pair of brother connections between Garrett Kingman and Austin Kingman, and then, of course, the two McLaughlin brothers.
And Jazz Johnson repays the favor with the 3 of his own.
You like that quick answer from Jazz Johnson. A little bit of momentum on the one side, and he decides to get it back for himself.
Another turnover on the Seahawks. Lakers back on the offense. 1:53 remaining in the first. You don't want Jazz Johnson to start heating up. I called one of his games, and he just took over the fourth quarter.
Absolutely, he's got that ability to do it, and he just forced that turnover as well. So he's got the ability to just change momentum in the game on a dime.
Johnson to Parker to Oppenheimer, back to Parker. Dribbles, back to Johnson. Johnson from the left wing, thought better of it. Back to Parker. Waiting very patiently, the Lakers. Honchell, bounce pass, too many bounce passes. Oppenheimer picks it back up, uses the glass, misses it. Oppenheimer fighting for the loose ball, so is Honchell. And we're going to call it probably a jump ball on this one. No, they're going to call a traveling violation. And that's going to be on the Lakers. Turnover, ball goes back to Peninsula.
Well, you often see it in high school basketball as well, but when you get a pair of scrappy teams like these two are, you're going to have a lot of loose ball opportunities and a lot of guys hustling for the ball. Wouldn't be surprised if we see more jump balls and travels along the ground later on in this game. Ooh, hard screen.
The Seahawks look to add their 5-point lead. There's Jimmy Ritchie. And once again, he can't finish in the paint area. Jazz Johnson's going to take this. He's blocked. Falls down hard. But it will be a foul on the Seahawks. Ja'Cory McLaughlin's the guilty party.
You like the aggression by Jazz Johnson there, but you got to be careful. We saw it in the early game as well with extending the arm when you're getting contact. If you're going to get contact, that is a blocking foul all the way, but if you extend your arm and push off against them as well, they could turn it the other way against you.
And we've seen that being called quite often in high school basketball. Zach Parker drives baseline, uses the glass, doesn't get the roll. And the rebound comes away by Lake Oswego. What a shot by number 33, Drew Todd. The wing postman, 6'8" junior, uses his size. Great possession there, only down by 3 with 45 left. Inside to Ritchie's triple team, and he's fouled. Looks like Parker went over the top. See if they get Parker or...
Yeah, the offensive strategy is pretty clear. They want to try to see what they can do going inside out with Jimmy Ritchie. And Lake Oswego's defensive strategy pretty clear. When the ball goes to Richie, everyone go to him.
This time he's single covered by Brett Graver, and we're going to have another whistle.
Starting to realize the value of having a big guy at the high school level like this. It's not only just to get looks inside.
Well, if they can play.
But
I've seen some 6'10" guys that were a little inept.
But also the value of racking up team fouls against the defense. I mean, in plays just like that, as you see a turnover.
Yeah, there it goes.
When Jimmy Ritchie has the basketball, there's a lot of pressure on the undersized Lake Oswego defenders to get in his face and play physical with him, bother him a little bit. And at the very least for Peninsula, he has the ability to rack up some team fouls.
Johnson thought about it. Now he goes left in the paint. He throws a shot up. No call. Oh, the putback, and you're going to call that one. What a play. Brett Graver on the offensive putback, high off the glass, drew the contact, and he's going to go to the line for a three-point play.
Yeah, Drew Graver, right place, right time. Now it's back-to-back possessions where he's been able to corral the offensive rebound and put it back. Jazz Johnson thought he may have been fouled on that first drive. But give Graver a lot of credit, being in the right place in the right time and then finishing hoop and the harm.
And completes the three-point play. We're tied up at 13. 18.3 left in the first.
And very often those are the types of plays and those type of role players that win you games in an invitational like this.
Another sloppy play by Peninsula. Turnover. Jazz Johnson has it with 6 seconds left. He's going to fire up a three. Johnson, nothing but the bottom of the net. Johnson puts the Lakers up their first lead. And there's a full-court shot at the end of the buzzer, and that will complete one. Here in Hillsboro, Oregon at Liberty High School, game number 3 of the Les Schwab Invitational, 16-13 Lakers.
Jazz Johnson starting to heat up from range with that one right there. Peninsula had the momentum. They were in charge of this first quarter early on for the first 5 minutes or so, and then Lake Oswego started to make a charge. Graver's offensive rebounding ability, and then he himself went on a personal 5-0 run. And then Jazz Johnson hitting that three, so the Lakers close out the quarter on an 8-0 run there, Brad, to get themselves momentum and back in front by 3 going into the second quarter.
Let's go to some highlights of the first quarter. Here's Peninsula, or the Lakers in transition, uses the glass.
That's Graver's fast break. I love that. Facing up to the rim, and he's able to get that one to go.
There's some perimeter shooting.
Good cross-court. Open up that opportunity. I love this play by McLaughlin. I hope to see him do more of that, dribbling off, getting a shot off his own dribble. And Jazz Johnson, we talk about his three-point shooting ability, but also his ability to get inside and draw the foul.
Yeah, that was a great shot by Olsen or Garrett Smith. And they go outside again, Peninsula. They did a great job of that. They just had too many turnovers. Good Laker defense to capitalize on those turnovers, and good offensive rebounding. See Zach Parker misses there. There's another offensive rebound by the Lakers. Throws it up and in.
Yeah, that was Drew Todd making a nice play right there. So offensive glass, it's been in the advantage of Laco in that first quarter. We'll see if Peninsula does anything to counter that, try to clean up the defensive side of the glass for themselves.
See Sean Elliott, number 13, in. No relation to the Sean Elliott from the Spurs. That one's short by Jazz Johnson, and it's cleared by Josh Keogh, another center, backup 6'6" junior. They do have some size. They're going to go inside. Richie's going to try to use the glass. Misses again. Tries to get his rebound. Still can't miss it. And that one's off the Lakers. A good attempt for a save, but they threw it off a Rodney Honshell off his foot. Ball belongs to the Seahawks.
So Jimmy Ritchie had the opportunity there, but for big men, especially with the flurry defenders that are going to trail in their direction, very often you only get one good, clean look at the basket, and if that doesn't go, then you're going to be amidst a flurry of bodies.
Ritchie once again commands a double team. That one's short, and the rebound, Drew Todd. Todd's come in some good rebounds. We're going to have a foul. That's going to be, you called it. You called it. That's on the Lakers. Jazz Johnson.
Yeah, and Coach Schaff understands there. Coach Mark Schaff, he understands that play, and Jazz Johnson has a little bit of that tendency when he drives, and everyone at this level will have that tendency to try to push off. I mean, I still do it, play pickup basketball all the time. It's the natural thing to do. You try to push off, but you got to try to stay under control there and give your footwork a chance to create separation.
Excellent job by Drew Todd, not allowing Ritchie to get the ball. And that's what you got to do. You got to put a big body on him, get your hands up. McLaughlin this time misses. And the rebound, Sean Elliott. Jazz Johnson tries to spin. they're not letting Jazz Johnson move in the open court. They're playing well defensively.
This is the matchup here. As McLaughlin is guarding Johnson as he works around a screen. Keep your eyes focused on that one on your screen as well. Those two guys are premier players.
Parker gets his own rebound and misses 2 easy shots off the glass. Peninsula, opportunities, efficiency. That's what these games come down to, turnovers and efficiency.
And Johnson guards McLaughlin at the other end. So this is the great matchup to watch, and this is why you come to this type of an invitational.
Exactly. It's like that Lillard-Steph Curry matchup. Here comes McLaughlin. McLaughlin in the paint, excellent pass. Oh, he just lays it up. Richie finally got one to fall. All created by McLaughlin.
And that's got to feel good for Richie. What beautiful penetration by McLaughlin. Richie, the easy bucket after he's had a tough go of it through the first quarter and a half.
Yeah, but eventually those will fall because Richie's not known to miss so many. And from outside, Rodney Honchell.
Need to see bench production. Rodney Honchell is part of that. A 6'2" guard, nice pure stroke.
They're looking to go inside to Richie again. This time, Olsen Urban kicks it back out. That's Garrett Kingman. Kingman's double teamed. Back to Olsen Urban. Urban throws across court. Good ball with McKingman. Now to Richie. Makes his move. Garrett Kingman back to Richie. He's got great position. He's thinking about it. No shot clock. Remember, we're at 5:20 left. They're taking their time. There's McLaughlin. Goes left. He's still guarded by Jazz Johnson. Uses the left hand, and we're going to have a foul whistle called, and it should be on Jazz Johnson. That's going to be his second.
And as this battle continues, as Johnson continues to force the issue against McLaughlin, McLaughlin does the same. We'll be interested to see what foul trouble looks like for these two as we approach the halftime break. For Johnson, he's going to stay on the floor with the 2 fouls.
Mark Shaw says we need him. There's McLaughlin from about 18. No good.
Same shot, that right-hand dribble pull-up. Oh!
Poor throw. I'm just going to give credit to Drew Todd for another rebound. He's really coming here. He's played outstanding for the Lakers. And we have a turnover. Ball goes back over to Peninsula. We're at the 5-minute mark of the second quarter of the first half.
McLaughlin hasn't hit from the perimeter for the last few possessions. A couple of misses from that deep range. He'll hope to get himself warmed up a little bit more.
He thought about taking that long 3, but thought better of it. Back to McLaughlin. Now he's guarded by Sean Elliott. McLaughlin from the elbow. Now he passes it for a 3-point shot. Excellent pass. And that's Austin Kingman. Hits the triple. And we're tied up at 18 with 4:24 left.
Peninsula's going to need that. They're going to need other offensive production just besides McLaughlin and their big man down low.
Parker, oh, he doesn't get the roll. Bounces out. McLaughlin comes away with the rebound. This is for the lead. McLaughlin at the left takes a 3-point shot. Too strong. Hits the back of the rim. Fighting for the rebound. Johnson's fouled.
Boy, Jazz Johnson sure gets himself into a lot of contact situations.
He's one of those
and he
players.
can handle it. For being a point guard, standing at 5'10", he's got a thick body frame as well, where he can withstand a lot of that physical play. Just a bit ago, we saw Cameron Parker, the outstanding sophomore point guard with Jesuit, walk by. And that's kind of what stands out about Cameron Parker when you talk about great point guards in the state of Oregon. Yes, he's just a sophomore, but unlike Jazz Johnson, he needs to put a little bit more weight on his upper body frame. For someone that likes to get inside so much, Johnson can handle that drive to the rim. For Parker, for Jesuit, once he gets a little bit thicker, he'll be able to take a lot of that contact as well.
Johnson hits both and puts the Lakers back up 20-18. Kingman thought about it, back to McLaughlin. Peninsula is very patient. Takes a lot of time off the clock each possession. McLaughlin pulls up inside the 3-point line. Nothing but the bottom of the net. 2, not 3.
He was able to run Rodney Hounshell off his spot that time. Get himself an open look at the rim.
Out of control was Brett Graver. And so is Peninsula. A pair of turnovers. Both teams exchange them. Lakers take over. Bunch of substitutions come in.
And that was really too bad because it was a nice no-look pass from Garrett Smith working in transition, and it doesn't bear fruit, but the right idea.
Tied up at 20 with 3:20 left in the first half. Honcho goes right, stops at the elbow, rolls off, and Peninsula comes away with another rebound. That's Jimmy Ritchie, using that 6'9" frame. Another three-pointer, Austin Kingman.
Kingman's got some size to him well, but he's kind of that stretch four that's starting to gain some ground in the NBA. That size, but now he shows off the range.
Honcho was triple team, gets it back to Jazz Johnson. Dangerous territories. Here's Zach Parker with 2:40 on the clock. Back to Johnson for three. Got it.
Jazz Johnson all day from that range. The left wing, that's the second three-pointer from that spot today.
We're tied up at 23. Outstanding game so far. Number 3 of the Les Schwab Invitational, day 2. Another three-point shot. That one's a little bit too powerful. Jazz Johnson comes away with the rebound. That was Garrett Kingman missing that shot. Johnson with 2:10 on the clock, moving the ball around. Parker, open three from the corner, and that is short. Seahawks get the rebound, and the timeout's going to be called. 2 minutes and 2 seconds. We're tied up at 23. A great one at Liberty High School. Newby and Stein calling the action.
At this point in the ballgame, my gosh, it's been back and forth. Jazz Johnson and Ja'Cory McLaughlin are the headliners, and both those players have been outstanding on the offensive ends of the floor. Johnson with that three from deep late, but McLaughlin as well has been making his mark shown as we show that replay of Jazz Johnson hitting from deep. But not it up at 23, and for teams that we aren't as familiar with, Austin Kingman gets a big three-pointer there. It's going to be these role players that make their mark, and Johnson shows off his range again. He's going to the University of Portland. He also was interested in Stanford. I mean, this is a very smart, intelligent kid that has all the ability in the world to play basketball. And that's a nice get for UP. You like to see that. Portland, University of Portland, only a handful of years removed from their appearance in the NCAA tournament.
Garrett Smith with the ball to Austin Kingman, into Ritchie. Ritchie used a little lefty hook. Doesn't get that. Honcho comes away with some glass. Jazz Johnson, nice fancy dribbling. 1:38 left on the clock. This is to break the tie. Johnson gets hammered, almost gets it to go, and he'll go back to the charity stripe.
Man, he knows what he's doing. That was a beautiful behind-the-back dribble in transition. Then he gets himself a little shimmy shake into the rim. And then the way he just hung in the air, bringing the basketball down, absorbing the contact. He can anticipate it. He shows a lot of good experience, obviously, as a senior. Look at this right here. Goes into the air, absorbs the contact, brings the ball down with him, and then nearly got it down.
Johnson is a draw. He's one of those players that people come just to watch him play.
And every year at this Les Schwab Invitational, Brad, I know you could attest for this as well. There seems to be, you know, a couple fan favorites, certain players that the fans love to rally to and root for. Yep. I have a feeling that Johnson could be one of those guys.
Oh, nice play. Honcho high off the glass. He is fouled hard. Almost, I thought it was a little bit late to call, but didn't get the basket, and Rodney Honcho will go to the line for the Lakers off the turnover, the steal.
A wonderful individual effort from Rodney Honcho that time. Taking away the passing lane. He's got a lot of length to him as well. I mean, look at his arms. He's standing up straight up and down. They nearly go down to his knees. And he was
only
able
a
to,
sophomore, Honcho.
And he was able to tip that one away. And take it the other. Look at this. Boom.
His arms are long.
Very quick with the left hand, and then got in. And I think the way he fell to the court was partially what helped sell the referee that that was a foul. But of course, you have the leverage as the offensive player when you're driving in. A little bit of contact will show up like a hard foul. But great play by Honcho.
25-23, Lakers on top. They're going to go inside to Jimmy Ritchie. Good job. A double team by the Lakers. Finds an open man underneath, and Garrett Kingman can't get it to go. And here comes Jazz Johnson as they clear for the Lakers. Johnson splits a nice double team. He's rejected by Ritchie, but the ball still belongs to the Lakers.
Get that feeling that Jimmy Ritchie is just feeling like he just hasn't been able to get all the looks on the offensive side that he's wanted, and none of them have been clean either, but it's nice that he gets to exhibit some of his defensive force.
Honcho in the paint, high floater, Air ball.
And Richie was the one that affected that. He tried to get it over the 6'9" frame, couldn't do it.
Richie affects both sides of the court. Very good. Once he gets those shots in the paint to go down, those easy layups that he should have made in the first quarter, guy's almost unstoppable. Smith from 3. Oh, nothing but the bottom of the net to break to give the Peninsula the lead again, 26-25. We're with 32 seconds left in the first. Let's see if the Lakers hold for the last possession.
It's been an outstanding half of basketball in the final 20 seconds now. We'll see if Lake Oswego has the answer.
Todd thought about the 3, then he charges, gets his own rebound. He's fouled. Oh, doesn't get the tip. Drew Todd, he has come in and really played well at both the wing and post position, the 6'8" junior.
That's like his 4th offensive rebound of the first half already. We saw him one time get the ball back and put it back up. The program says he stands at 6'8", and he's utilizing that capability. But again, Brad, we've seen a handful of missed free throws. I'm intrigued to see what the first half stats are going to say, but Jazz Johnson's missed 2 or 3.
Oppenheimer missed a cut, or at least 1 and 2.
And Todd's missed 1. I know Houndshell missed 1. So Lake Oswego's leaving some points on the board as he splits a pair.
Ties it up at 26, 9 seconds left. They're going to go inside, not to Oppenheimer. We're going to have a foul before the basket. No, it's going to be an offensive foul. And look at that. You're going to charge on Austin Kingman.
It's not as obvious, but I think it's the right call. He did hook as he was trying to make his way down the baseline. It's not an original move. We've seen it very many times before.
It's a great call by the referee. It's not easy to spot all the time. And a lot of times they'll be hesitant to make that call.
Come on, Jazz.
Jazz with 1 second. Fires it. Jazz Johnson. Are you kidding me? A little excitement for game number 3.
Jazz Johnson.
That's how the half's going to end. 29-26 Lakers on top. Johnson hits another 3. Could always count on that guy.
3rd three-pointer of the half for Jazz Johnson. And boy, man, what an unbelievable first half back and forth between these two teams. And a fitting way for it to end. Jazz Johnson pulling up from 3. He only had 4 seconds when he possessed that ball from his side of the backcourt. Sprinted his way across to the right wing, pulled up from 3, fired it off, still with plenty of time on the clock. Lake Oswego, the 3-point lead.
Stein and Newby doing this. For you, we have some stats. Can we get them?
A couple of things that really stand out on this stat sheet. Lake Oswego attempted 17 free throws, just 1 free throw attempted for Peninsula. So there's that disparity. But aside from attempting 17, they're 10 for 17 from the free throw line. So that's not a very good percentage like that.
How many turnovers for Peninsula?
Peninsula has turned the ball over 9 times. Lake Oswego's turned it over 5 times. So both teams, especially Peninsula, hoping to take a little bit better care of the basketball in this half.
McLaughlin on the pick from Kingman.
He had 7 points, did Ja'Cory McLaughlin.
Going to go inside to Richie, double team. Richie passes out to the corner, 3 for Urban, and that's off. Richie, a big rebound, skying high. He misses another one inside of it. That was contested by our boy Drew Todd. Great play.
And Drew Todd quickly becoming a broadcaster favorite with this, his efforts and abilities down low.
Especially when they're surprised. Love it. There's Jazz Johnson from a little behind the free throw line, and Jazz Johnson has the first bucket of the game and a 31-26 lead.
Yeah, 16 first half points for Jazz Johnson on 3 of 5 shooting from behind the arc, 4 of 8 from the floor. Now he's got 18 with that little jumper.
McLaughlin stops on a dime, too hard this time. The rebound is defensively for the Lakers. They have Parker, and he gets the layup, and he's fouled. Zach Parker is going to go to the line to try to add to the Laker lead.
Lake Oswego was able to take momentum into the end of the first half with Jazz Johnson's 3-pointer. And now they come out with the first minute and 10 seconds of this half with a pair of really aggressive plays. Of course, Jazz Johnson's jumper. And now the beautiful drive and the fast break by Zach Parker going to the line and make the 3-point play.
The Lakers are going to go with Brett Graver, Rodney Houndshell, Zach Parker, Jazz Johnson, and Max Oppenheimer as their starters. There's no Max Dennison today. Max Dennison's one of their better post players. That's why we're seeing a lot of Drew Todd. Corner three, way too. When Oppenheimer clears the board for Lake Oswego, Jazz, and now he's double teamed, spins, he's bumped, he's fouled. A little bit too much contact by Garrett Smith.
Like the idea from Garrett Smith in Peninsula defensively to bring an extra defender to try to hold off Jazz Johnson at the point of his dribble attack before he can get involved in the offense.
It's a third foul on Garrett Smith, something to watch in the second half. Just on our way, game number 3, 6:23 remaining in the third. Lakers 7-point lead, 30-26.
Even a 7-point lead, this game obviously still has plenty of action left.
Johnson on the drive, he's fouled before the pass. Johnson's drawing a lot of fouls, a lot of contact.
And he's under control when he's driving too. He knows exactly what he's doing. He moves at a very comfortable pace for himself. And he knows where he wants to get to. He knows point A to point B, and he very often gets fouled en route to doing that.
Zach Parker falling backwards. Another foul away from the ball. And once again, it's on Peninsula.
So you're starting to see one of the reasons. Maybe it's because Peninsula lacks a little bit of defensive discipline, but also Lake Oswego's aggressive nature even away from the ball. They shot 17 free throws in that first half and already 4 team fouls in less than 2 minutes.
And that's the 4th foul on Garrett Smith. I just said, let's watch that. One more and he's out of here. And that's one of their better players for the Seahawks.
And he's still on the floor.
Well, they have someone waiting to check in probably for Garrett Smith.
Boy, I got to say, though, it's your 4th foul. You'd get him out of there in a hurry. That's already a dead ball substitute opportunity.
Oppenheimer back to Jazz Johnson. Johnson facing up. Garrett Smith. Garrett Smith, smart, playing a little behind him. Doesn't want to get his 5th foul before he's being replaced. And I'm surprised that Garrett Smith is defending Jazz Johnson. If I'm the head coach, Mark Schaaf, I attack Garrett Smith. Get him out of there right now. Jazz Johnson, there he goes. He attacks the lane. Smith bails, and Johnson misses the shot cleared by the Seahawks. See if McLaughlin can get it going as he's fouled.
McLaughlin's going to have to do some more of that, too. That's Jazz Johnson's game, and Johnson's going to be the one that's called for the foul. But get inside and force the issue. Obviously, McLaughlin's got the ability to shoot from the perimeter. But I think for Peninsula's sake, they'll need to get a little bit more high percentage looks. Shooting percentages in that first half, Peninsula shot 40%, 10 of 25 from the floor, and 5 of 8 from three-point range. They have the ability to make threes, but they got to get clean looks at them like this one.
McLaughlin takes a three. He's hit hard by Drew Todd. No foul called. Offensive rebound by the Seahawks. And Ja'Cory McLaughlin will regroup. Defended by Zach Parker, moving the ball around to Levi Alton. Number 22, Garrett Kingman, checked in for Garrett Smith. And another one too strong. McLaughlin hasn't been able to get it going, and there's Drew Todd, the favorite of the sportscasters here for Portland SportsBeat. He is doing all the dirty work, everything you need. And a lot of that stuff does translate and show up in the stat sheet. That's Oppenheimer.
So Jazz Johnson's on the bench right now. It's going to be interesting to see what Lake Oswego chooses to do offensively. And this is Peninsula's chance to get back in this game and close on this deficit.
Oppenheimer, nice pass into Drew Todd. Drew Todd uses the glass. Look at Drew Todd. If it's scoring inside, defensive rebounding, offensive boards, loose balls, he does it all.
And you got to have the efforts of those role players in order to go deep in an invitational like this. With so many games and so much action, so many minutes, played a lot on your starters too. Guys like Drew Todd have to come up big, and he has done exactly that.
Oh, the Lakers are doing such a good job double teaming Ja'Cory McLaughlin and forcing turnovers, and we just saw another traveling violation on Peninsula back over to the Lakers. Timeout called with 4:05 remaining. The Lakers have a 9-point lead, 35-26.
Boy, and they've really had all the momentum in this third quarter, and they've earned it just halfway through the third quarter, but the efforts on the offensive glass and the defensive glass as well, plus Jazz Johnson's ability to get inside and draw fouls. Peninsula seems a little bit on their heels. This timeout is being called by Lake Oswego, but I think it's well timed for Peninsula as well. Offensively, the Seahawks have the ability to get open shots. I mean, when the double team comes, there's been a lot of possessions that they've been able to find the open man, jump in the air, and make the skip pass across for an open three-point opportunity. The unfortunate thing is for them in this third quarter, they just haven't been making those three-point opportunities yet. They have the looks, McLaughlin's going to be able to have his ability, but when you rely a lot on your perimeter shooting on a night when it necessarily isn't going to the best rhythm that you're accustomed to, that's when you start to get into trouble. But also, if you're Lake Oswego, you know you're playing this team in in Peninsula. Even though they're down by 9 right now, they have the ability to shoot themselves right back into it because they've got that ability from deep range.
Do you keep working the ball inside to Jimmy Ritchie?
I feel like they've been force-feeding that a little bit too much, to be honest. I would to see more pick-and-pop opportunities. If Ritchie sets a screen out to the outside, then let him roll down low and play off McLaughlin's game a little bit. Right now, it seems like they're playing isolated away from one another.
Hounshell, Oppenheimer moving the ball around. Brett Graver played a nice first half.
But it also starts up with the intensity on the defensive end for Peninsula as well. Anytime you're trying to climb back into a ball game, it has to start on this side.
Foul away from the ball. Another one on Peninsula. They're just eating up those team fouls. That's number 5 on the Seahawks. And a couple of substitutions. Jimmy Ritchie comes back in. Let's see if they do. Listen to you, more pick and pops and pick and rolls. And also number 5, Cade McGill checks in for the first time, the 6'2" sophomore. Ball out of bounds, Rodney Hounshell passes it in. 3:36 on the clock. 35-26 Lakers. Oh, yep. Hounshell was hit hard. Another foul. And that one's going to be on Ja'Cory McLaughlin.
This Invitational has seen the likes of so much good talent. And even last year, I mean, a guy like Jaleel Okafor playing in this building, now making his presence felt with Duke. I mean, anywhere you look, there's going to be a team with a real premier prospect going to the next level. Jazz Johnson's the one in this one for Lake Oswego, and he's headed to the University of Portland. Undoubtedly an advantage for them.
Drew Todd walked with that one. Couldn't stop himself.
That is big for Peninsula right there because their defensive intensity has gotten the better of them. A lot of team fouls, already 6 team fouls in this half. To have that one be forced into a turnover, it feels like it rewards them a little bit for their efforts.
Stolen away by Rodney Hounshell. Let's see what he does with this. Long arms. He gets fouled but misses the layup. He'll go to the charity stripe for a pair.
That's Rodney Hounshell doing his thing.
That's what he does.
It's the second time today we've seen him get in the way of a passing lane, force a steal, and take it to the rack on the other end. But Lake Oswego, after going 10 of 17 from the foul line in the first half, they would have liked to do a little bit better. Undoubtedly, win, lose, or draw on this one. They're going to be looking at the stat sheet at the end saying, man, look how many points we left at the charity stripe.
Hounshell misses both of them. Look at Drew Todd there. No contact?
No,
I don't know.
Ritchie got all ball there. That was an outstanding defensive play. Todd was in the right position, but
Todd got the rebound, didn't get the shot. That's what Ritchie does. Too hard. Todd with another rebound for the Lakers.
yeah, Cade McGill needs to keep himself under control on that. He's coming off the bench looking to bring some extra defensive energy.
Zach Parker, nice pass underneath. Missed shot, Brett Graver. I think that was partially blocked.
It was blocked by Kingman. So back-to-back blocks. Reynolds flocking to the...
Well, you called for the defense, and that's what they're generating right now. They had the turnover, the walk, and now a pair of blocks.
Well, now they need to get some shots to fall, too, because they've gone cold.
Peninsula trails by 9. Inside to Ritchie. There he uses the glass. I was saying they should go a little bit more inside. Ritchie is the man, and Ritchie puts him down by 7. We're just about at the 2-minute mark of the third quarter.
Ooh, a new type of defense being put in now.
And Jazz Johnson is still on the bench for the Lakers.
It's like a 2-1-2 zone for Peninsula, looking to flock and take away passing lanes. Very interesting. So no shot clock, so they can afford to be patient.
Good passes. Zach Parker has an open 3 from the wing. Parker doesn't get that one to fall. And the rebound comes away to Cade McGill, who just recently checked in.
So those will be the open types of shots for Lake Oswego.
There it is again. Ritchie's double teamed, some contact. Drew Todd did a good job to stay with him And once again, another miss by Richie. He was getting a little frustrated there. There was some contact, but I like the good no call. It's good physical, no foul. We'll have one right there as Brett Graver in the paint took the shot. Fouls on Todd. Is that his second? Yeah, it's his second, isn't it? I don't know why they have listed one on the scoreboard.
I do believe it would be his second personal. The offensive paces on both sides really slowed. Only 2 points in this half for Peninsula, and only 6 for Lake Oswego.
Inside again, Richie blocked. Oh, what a play by, that's just a defensive team effort by the Lakers to get a piece of that. You have Todd putting the body on, you have weak side help coming over, blocking the shot, and they've made life for the 6'9" Richie not easy.
Yeah, shots have been hard to come by for Richie.
They've contested every single layup, every shot in the paint. 51 seconds remaining now. Still trailing by 7 is Peninsula. Trying to cut it to 5 or 4 with a triple. Inside, good job at drawing the foul is Kingman. That's Garrett Kingman, the 6'4" junior.
And Ja'Cory McLaughlin has been getting a rest on the bench this whole time. You often see alpha dogs and star players being able to get rested at the end of the third quarter, so then go into the fourth quarter fresh. And that's what's happening with McLaughlin now. But
and Jazz Johnson on the other side.
Absolutely. Now Jazz just came back into the game. And you talk about missed free throws, especially when you're trying to get back into a contest, leaving points out there. Only 2 points in this entire quarter for Peninsula. And that was that Jimmy Ritchie baseline drive.
And Kingman misses a pair. Johnson with 40 seconds left. Still up by 7, 35-28. Johnson's foul before the spin. And Johnson is good at drawing contact and fouls.
Yeah, I don't know if Peninsula is used to this amount of fouls being called on them, because not all of them have been obvious. There have been some touch fouls that have been called as well. But that effective style, where you're just trying to harass the ball handler.
And speaking about fouls, here comes Garrett Smith with 4 checking back in for Peninsula. They have to put him in.
That was a really brief shift for number 24, Ryder Johnson. Saw the court for about 15 seconds.
And Johnson hits a couple, back up to 9. Inside, Kay cannot get it to go. Back out, another offensive rebound, pulls up from 16, and there you go. Garrett Kingman gets a basket, a much-needed basket for the Seahawks now with 16 seconds left. Lake Oswego is going to hold it. Ball's in great hands with Johnson. Let's see what they do. Zach Parker, who hasn't had a chance to get it going in the second half. Johnson's going to pull up inside the three-point line. Too strong, hits it back. Zach Parker with the rebound. 3 seconds left. Johnson's going to have to go up with it. There's a three-point shot. Johnson hits it, beats the clock again. That's twice. Once in the second quarter, now once in the third quarter. Jazz Johnson, incredible.
He is the man. Ends the second quarter with a three-point shot to end the half. Ends the third quarter from the left wing, much in the same way. He loves that spot on the floor. When he got the ball with the second chance, there were about 4 ticks left on the clock. He knew exactly what he was going to do with it. He was going to take his time. He's going to put the ball on the floor once and back up with a deep 3 from the left wing. We'll get another look at it. But Jazz Johnson making, so they bring the pressure and he gets rid of it. Now he gets it back, and he's going to pull up once here. It won't go, but once he gets it right here, he knows exactly what he's going to do. And that's the same shot that he finished the second quarter with. And that's big time. I mean, Peninsula only scored 4 points in that third quarter, but before that possession, you still look up and you're down by 7 points. You're like, I'm still in this game. A little bit more effort, a little bit more shots to go, a couple free throws here and there. You never know. I'm still in this. But to see Jazz Johnson nail that 3, it makes you think, okay, this might be his game. And to be down by 10 going into the fourth quarter, they're going to need some three-pointers to go down for him in this quarter in order to get back into it.
I agree with you. A double-digit lead is a big difference at 7 points.
Although Hey, we just saw it in the first game this morning as well between Reynolds and Jesuit. Reynolds was down by 10 points with 3.5 minutes left, and then they came back with a flurry of steals and had a chance to win it in the final possession before turning it over. So you never know what kind of finish you're going to get here.
Lakers have possession of the fourth quarter, up by 10, 40-30. 7:50 to go in the game. Been a great one here. Exactly what we expected. Evenly matched teams. A lot of missed free throws for the Lakers, a lot of turnovers for Peninsula. And there's Todd making his case for the player of the game. Making his case, but there's a guy named Jazz Johnson.
Jazz Johnson already with about 22 points, so.
Honchell, guarded, gets it out to Todd, looking for Jazz Johnson. It's a perfect name, too, Jazz. Gotta love that. Zach Parker, great drive, misses it, but another offensive rebound by guess who? Drew Todd, and he walked. Oh, gave him too much praise there.
Yeah, great effort by Todd, not only to get the rebound, his coach was pleading his case. He was harassed by about 3 defenders there all surrounding him. He definitely did shuffle his feet. Peninsula, give them credit. They are flocking wherever the ball is. They're trying to scoop it out and get some turnovers for their own right.
That's the second time that Todd has traveled when he got an offensive rebound.
Houndshell's going to pick up his second personal. But boy, this game could be a lot more than 10 if Lake Oswego was a little bit more consistent at the foul line, as Jazz Johnson has got to clean himself up a little bit. I'm not sure. Lake Oswego only with 4 players on the floor right now, and they're going to take a timeout to attend to Jazz Johnson. I think he's got a little bit of blood or something, so they're going to take a timeout and let him regather himself. But coming up after the conclusion of this one, the noon tip-off between Jefferson and South Salem. Another Portland Trailblazers connection with that matchup. Clifford Robinson, the former Portland Trailblazer and NBAer for a good long time. His son, big man for Jefferson High School. And they'll be in action following this one. And we saw another Portland Trailblazer great whose son played earlier today, Malcolm Porter, son of legendary Terry Porter. Terry was in attendance watching that one.
How did Malcolm do?
Malcolm did very well. Scored about 17 points when that game was all said and done. He, much like Jazz Johnson, has a nose for contact. And in that fourth quarter, when Reynolds made their late charge back with all those turnovers, Porter was in the middle of getting fouled left and right, and sometimes it was called and sometimes it wasn't.
Peninsula down by 10, 7:04 remaining. McLaughlin goes left, double teamed. Now he goes back right. Great job getting around. Uses, oh, what a spin, and right off the glass. That was beautiful by McLaughlin. We haven't seen too much of that. The Lakers have done a good job to neutralize that. Zach Parker tries to reverse it. He's rejected. No contact. And in transition, quickly come Peninsula. 4 straight points by McLaughlin. Another timeout called by Lake Oswego. Oh, boy.
No,
just like that, 40-36.
Jacorin McLaughlin. That is an outstanding sequence of events by that young man. He knows his team is desperate for a basket. He gets double teamed on the dribble, and he says, I don't care. I'm taking this to the rim anyway. He backs out of it, and then he takes it to the rack himself. The beautiful finger roll. I mean, what incredible body control. Look at this. The right-hand dribble and then hanging in the air. That is such a great move by McLaughlin. And then coming down the other end of the floor, beautiful loop pass. And look at that, the double clutch and the finish at the rim.
Highlight.
That is the offensive leader for Peninsula, making his presence felt when it has to happen. They've been going into Jimmy Ritchie as their #1 offensive option for a lot of this second half. But it's got to be McLaughlin's game. He's got to be the one to bring him back into it. And within the span of 30 seconds, he's made it a 6-point game himself. That timeout was actually called by Peninsula. So they had the momentum. Their head coach calls a timeout while they have the momentum to kind of get some positive reinforcement going. Often in basketball, you see a team like Lake Oswego calling that timeout when everything's going against them. But I like what Peninsula does there. Get a couple quick baskets, call timeout, reset yourself. 6.5 minutes left. You're right in this thing.
6-point game, but 2-possession game. That's all. It's that close. Great job by McLaughlin, scoring 4 straight points for Peninsula. Let's see how Lake Oswego handles this possession offensively. The long arms of Rodney Honchell loses the ball. Another forced turnover. Great job by the Seahawks. Here they come in transition. Oh boy, a blocking foul called. And that's going to be on Todd. I believe that's his second or third.
Boy,
and Garrett Smith got hit hard.
And for having 4 fouls, Garrett Smith still is not afraid to force the issue offensively. He hasn't had as much luck at the free throw line that he would like either. So these are big free throws, too, for Peninsula to get back into this game. That's nice to see him get his first.
And there we go in transition. Well, he just plowed over Todd.
And you got to give Todd a lot of credit. I guess the ruling was he just didn't get there in time, but that was as close as it comes to being able to actually get a charging call out of that.
It was close, but he didn't have possession. It was a good call. And Garrett Smith absolutely has to be careful with playing with 4 fouls, but that's his game.
And getting those 2 free throws are big. I mean, in a game where both teams have missed a lot of free throws, hitting a pair like that keeps the 6-0 run alive. Let's see if Jazz Johnson has an answer. This has to be his time, too.
There's the double team. Back to Graver. Graver now, he's double team, finds Jazz Johnson. He's at the left. Jazz Johnson draws some more contact. Another foul. Doesn't complete the play, but he'll go back to the line. And Jazz Johnson is so good whenever the Lakers are struggling to get a basket. Just takes it right off the dribble, charges the paint, attacks the basket better than most players in the state of Oregon. And he's been pretty good at the free throw line. What was he in the first half?
Yeah, he did all right from the free throw line in the first half.
He's been great the second half.
5 for 8, which compared to his other teammates as well, 8 free throw attempts was big for him.
And he just hit a pair again.
He definitely has a soft touch, as you saw in that first one, hits the rim and just kind of curls in. That's big when you're shooting free throws.
Garrett Smith with the ball. 5:41 left, trailing by 6. Only a 2-possession game. McLaughlin, there's the double team. Now he's defended by Parker. Gets looking for the screen. McLaughlin didn't see it coming from Kingman. Ritchie makes a move baseline. Ritchie uses the right hand. A blocking foul is called. Oh boy. Tough call on Lake Oswego. Good job by Ritchie to attack the basket. And that one's going to be on Sean Elliott, his second foul.
Boy, great idea by Sean Elliott. He saw that drive from Ritchie coming all the way.
Yeah, I want to see that replay. And when you ask for things, sometimes you get it in life, and there it is.
You know, seeing the replay, Elliott was already falling backwards before the contact.
Yes.
He was really doing his best to sell it. He was very much moving.
A great call.
It was a very good idea by Elliott to get into that position before the drive from Ritchie, but it was a good call.
Great call. 4-point deficit for Peninsula. Jazz Johnson attacks again. This time no call. Good rebound by Sean Elliott. Now to Graver. Graver's double team, throws it. Ooh, risky pass, but Todd is there. Todd's going to find an open Johnson in the corner. Johnson buries another. Jazz Johnson, with 5:03 left, puts the Lakers back up by 7.
Man, and these have just been dagger threes by him, too. Every time Peninsula tries to crawl back in it, it seems like Jazz Johnson is the one to have the answer, but a nice answer in his own right for Jimmy Ritchie.
Ritchie cuts the deficit to 5. 45-40 with 4:40 left. Johnson, guarded by McLaughlin, goes right in the paint. Penetrates out, moving the ball around. Todd at the 3-point line. There comes Ritchie, comes out. Now he gives it back to Johnson. Smart move. No shot clock, no worries. Johnson versus McLaughlin. There's the, we're going to have a blocking foul on Ritchie, as Todd was attempting to make a pick.
Even if he's driving inside or if he's just dribbling near the half-court line, Johnson has the ability to draw enough attention to sometimes get fouled. And being the 6th team foul, or now that's the 10th team foul, so it's double bonus for the Lakers the rest of the way.
And Johnson's been so clutch in the second half once again from the stripe. First half, you mentioned 5 of 8, but I don't believe he's missed a free throw. The timeout is called.
Still just a 6-point game with 4:25 left to go in this one. Peninsula's going to need a couple of those 3-point shots to go after they were 60% from in that first half. They're going to need a couple more to get going to try to ignite that offense in a quick way. But looking around, I mean, not only a great match, but a great crowd at the Les Schwab Invitational, as there always seems to be year in, year out. I mean, it's just such a neat event for the Portland area to get a bunch of good Oregon schools and see how they stack up with other powerhouses around the nation. Oak Hill Academy, of course, one of the premier powerhouses there here very, very often. And now this year we get the top 1 and top 2 players in the entire country. Ben Simmons will be in action with Montverde Academy here on this floor later on this evening. And Jaylen Brown, we saw him last night. We'll see him tonight as well.
Oh, and Johnson finally misses his first free throw. The Lakers' 15th year in the LSI. The Les Schwab Invitational won back in 2012, just a couple years ago. Mark Schaff in his 20th season. There's McLaughlin. He's rejected by Oppenheimer, who just checked in, and Todd traveled again. That's 3 traveling violations. As good as he has played, as well as he's played on both sides of the court, really been a neutralizer. He has turned the ball over 3 times with the travel, and that was a big one with 4:06 left, down by 6. Great pass underneath, and Garrett Smith is fouled, and he'll go to the line.
Boy, a great 2-man game between Garrett Smith and Jimmy Ritchie right there. Beautiful idea by Ritchie. He's got, obviously, standing at 6'9", he's got the ability to survey the floor and make all the passing angles from coming up top. The inbounds, the pass right back, and hopefully for Peninsula they can get a couple free throws out of this. As you look at the idea, beautiful. Oh, look at that. The window was there, and Jimmy Ritchie found him, and it's going to lead to a couple free throws. That was a beautiful shot from our baseline cameraman.
4-point game, 4:04 left. We're heading to that crunch time. And a little pressure. Oh, great pass by Johnson. Zach Parker blows a layup, but Oppenheimer's there. The quick Oppenheimer gets stuffed by the rim. He misses the shot, and it goes back over to Peninsula. He thought there was some contact there, but good no call, at least in my opinion. Garrett Smith, number 3, gets it to McLaughlin. Plenty of time. We're going to have an exciting finish. I can guarantee that one. Oh, intercepted by Oppenheimer. He comes in here with the offensive board, now a big steal. This is what he does. He doesn't shoot very often unless it's right underneath the hoop. And Johnson, they're going to say he traveled. The fans do not like that call. But Jazz Johnson is called with the travel violation after he made a splendid move.
Boy.
And converted on the layup.
The travel calls have been happy today.
Yeah, well, I've never seen this many. Really haven't. Not in a men's basketball game. McLaughlin gets the screen by Ritchie. He's defended by Garrett. Oh, good. Another steal, another turnover. Careless pass, Jazz Johnson. In transition, Jazz Johnson puts the Lakers back up by 6 at the 3-minute mark of the game.
It's nice to see Johnson that time. He doesn't anticipate the contact. He knows that he's backing off, so he's able to keep his body under control for the 2. And Lake Oswego is going to calm it down a little bit now.
Good job by Brett Graver. He got the rebound. He settled it down, waited for Jazz Johnson. And there comes a double team on Johnson, just moving the ball around. Great pass work. There's Graver now. He just goes out instead of shooting to trying to kill some clock with 2.5 left. And there's a careless pass and a turnover. That's why that's by Kingman. And here comes McLaughlin. He charges, goes baseline, lays it up off the glass and in. And it's just like that. It's 48-44. Lakers are up by 4. But you got to be very careful, Peninsula. Sometimes too many passes is a bad thing. Zach Parker has been just really cold pretty much the whole game. And another steal, another turnover. Here come the Seahawks. That one's stolen. Now we got a late foul on Todd. Very late.
Boy, it seems like all the 50-50 calls are going against Drew Todd for all his abilities to make plays and get steals.
Because we're praising him so much.
Of course.
They got upset.
But for Ja'Cory McLaughlin, I mean, this is his time. This is his offensive team. That was a beautiful move that he had on the last trip down the floor, kind of lulling the defender to sleep and then pouring it in with the lane and shooting these 1-and-1s. These are crucial. Nice to hit the front end. And I can't believe, I mean, Lake Oswego's been the ones in control of this second half, and it's a 1-possession game, and now just a 2-point game. Jazz Johnson has played really under control, and every time you look at him, he seems relaxed, but it's also led to a little bit of nonchalance with the basketball the last couple trips down.
Johnson makes a great drive in the lane, a 5-footer, misses that one, but gets the rebound again in right by the free throw line. Can't get that to go. Another rebound. It is hit by Oppenheimer, who keeps it alive. Back to Johnson. Now they're going to reset with 1:48 left on the clock and a 2-point lead. And Johnson's fouled that time, and that's on Elijah McLaughlin.
Wow. If you're Peninsula, you have a 6'9" Jimmy Ritchie on the floor and Austin Kingman on the floor, the ability to get rebounds, but they just gave up 2 offensive rebounds, and they were crucial. I mean, at this point in the game, extra possessions are huge.
Correction, that was Olsen Urban with the foul as he left the game. And Johnson, one more clutch free throw remaining.
And those look as good free throws as you'll ever see. Jazz Johnson, I think, starting to find his comfortability level at the free throw line now, and those are going to be important as he extends it back to a 2-possession game.
Full timeout called by the Lakers. Exactly 104 seconds remaining in this contest. 50-46, Lakers.
All the big shots in this game have come from Jazz Johnson. When you're talking about crucial shots coming at the buzzer, he ended the first half with a buzzer-beating three-pointer. He ended the third quarter with a buzzer-beating three-pointer. I really like that drive that you just saw on the replay because he kept himself under control. But that time he got a little too relaxed, and it was a good step and takeaway. And then this move by McLaughlin, curling, and he gets himself to the rim, knifes inside. McLaughlin has really shown a very uncanny ability to relax himself and finish when he gets around the rim. A very soft touch. He's got a good relationship with the window. He's able to utilize it to his ability. If I'm Lake Oswego, I'm definitely game planning to put Jazz Johnson on McLaughlin when they bring up a screen. Double team McLaughlin out of the screen, make him get the basketball out of his hands, or force himself to dribble out of it and reset. But if you're Peninsula, you got to have an opportunity to get McLaughlin the ball and then tell Jimmy Ritchie, hey, be ready. If they double team, slip yourself down the seam and get yourself an open look to get that pass.
A little rocky in the background, 1:44. Peninsula ball. And this is what we wanted to see. Wanted the game to come down to the last minute with Ja'Cory McLaughlin battling Jazz Johnson. And this time he's guarded by Todd. Todd comes out there as McLaughlin misses a 3. Good rebound by Zach Parker.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was the look they wanted, but when you have someone as talented as McLaughlin, you let him sometimes take that shot and hope it goes down.
Graver passes out to Johnson now, 1:18 left. Still up by 4. Johnson's not fouled. Great pass to Graver. Graver inside, misses another layup, fighting for the rebound, and it's pulled down by Garrett Smith, the man with all the fouls. He's been very quiet. Great job.
Wow.
And a blocking foul is going to be called on Parker.
Now be a 1-and-1 now for McLaughlin as well. Really impressive. Jazz Johnson on this side, on the offensive side. He passed up that open three-pointer, knowing that time was much more valuable than points at this point in the game, and instead he kept himself under control, and it led to a Lake Oswego opportunity, but Peninsula give them a lot of credit. Able to get that loose ball and now crawl back into this game. Ever since we made that point about the lack of free throw shooting, both at halftime and early into the third quarter, both sides have really shored that up. McLaughlin's 4 out of his last 4 from the free throw line. Jazz Johnson is 6 of 8 from the free throw line in this half alone. So both teams stepping it up, getting free points when they can, and with just a $1:04 to go, it's a 2-point game again. Of course, excited for Jefferson and South Salem later on this afternoon. And we round out our early session with Central Catholic, who's 6-0, taking on Lake Ridge at 1:30 in the bottom half of the bracket. And then the evening session, you'll have Oregon City and Rainier Beach, who won this Invitational last year. Rainier Beach coming out of the Seattle area, the alma mater of Jamal Crawford. They've won the Washington State title 3 years in a row. No one's won it 4 times in a row. They're hoping to do that this year.
Johnson's going to inbound the ball. Just 64 seconds left. Can the Lakers hold on? He misses another layup, and Zach Parker follows it and is fouled. And once again, Parker, Graver missing all these easy layups. But it drew the contact, and Parker will go to the line for a couple.
In these situations with those inbound plays, you hear a lot of baseball and football analogies. That was a baseball pass down the seam, a kind of a go route.
You got to finish, though. You got to finish. Even if you get a little contact, you're that close to the rim.
It's hard when you're going at that speed. Obviously, you got to do it, but you know, to regain your control and your composure, especially when you're not a guard, and being able to put that one softly in, that's a hard thing to do.
They have missed a lot, especially in the second half. That's the Lakers. A lot of layups, a lot of shots in the paint, and a couple of shots by Parker puts the Lakers back up by 4. Now we're at the 1-minute mark. This is when it gets exciting. Ball's in Garrett Smith's hands, looking for McLaughlin. No, it's intercepted by Zach Parker. Here he goes, showtime. Parker lays it up and in. Increases the lead to 6, now 45 seconds. What a careless mistake by Peninsula. As double team once again, Parker and Johnson fighting for the ball. Johnson picks it up. Oh, Johnson turns it over. Ball still loose. Kingman has it with 35 seconds left, down by 6. It's getting exciting. Richie loses the ball, and guess who's there to pick it up? Todd, and carefully gives it to Jazz Johnson with 27 seconds, and there's the foul. Oh, boy. Comments?
Well, it's unfortunate to see how well this basketball game has been played in the last 90 seconds to get this sloppy in the final minute. But a really nice play right there to step in front.
Great finish by Parker.
Of the steal, and Parker finishing on the other end, of course. But Peninsula did get too careless with their offensive possessions here down the stretch. Having an opportunity to get right back in. It was a 1-point or a 1-possession game there, and taking care of the ball, that's at a premium. And this ball's just been bouncing like a pinball everywhere in the final 2 minutes.
Stolen again by Peninsula. There's Garrett. Garrett sinks the shot. It is a 3-pointer, down by 5.
Boy, that was not a 3. He was about a half foot inside the line, so I'm not sure.
But they called it a 3. I would like to see the replay on that if we can get that. Where his...
Johnson will go to the line for a pair here.
During that shot, I want to see where it's
him. It's probably already a moot point if he can actually just make one of these ones to make it a 6-point game. But you see, look where
he was inside the 3-point line. Look at that. Let's one more time. Yeah, look when he released the ball. Totally, not even close. They gave it to him.
Oh no, they did give him a 2-pointer.
They changed it.
Yeah,
they just changed it. Yep.
Peninsula had 48 points before that shot.
There's a heave for 3 and got it. Once again, Garrett Smith has really held Peninsula in this game. 4 points lead. There's the foul on Johnson with 2.9 seconds left. This should be a Lake Oswego victory. But once again, a wonderful game and a fantastic finish. Both teams deserve a pat on the back. It's been very exciting calling this game. And Johnson is just so clutch, whether it's a buzzer beater from the 3-point line or at the stripe, so clutch. It's always great to have a player like that on your team, a guy you could depend on who's just cool, unflappable, and a pair of free throws synced by Mr. Jazz Johnson with 2.9, and that's going to do it here in game number 3. That hit the bottom of the net, it just didn't go in. And that's going to do it, game number 3. Lake Oswego takes it 59-53 over the Peninsula Seahawks.
Jazz Johnson was the player of this game. The way he ended the second and third quarters gave Lake Oswego momentum to the respective following quarters. Every time he touched the ball, he made something happen offensively. Of course, we really liked the effort of Drew Todd. He was kind of the junkyard dog out there, cleaning up all the mistakes and taking care of the ball. Unfortunately for him, he got called for a few travels down the stretch as well. Peninsula, they nearly fought their way back into it, and Ja'Cory McLaughlin is the headliner on this team, and he was impressive. A couple of really nice moves from the outside of the perimeter to the rim, a little shake and bake and good control around the basket. And in an invitational like this, really interested to see how much more of that we can see as we show you some game highlights. Early on, this was the first half early on in this game, and a nice perimeter shooting from Peninsula in that first half. They had the lead there for a while, and this is Jagor McLaughlin. I really like that shot. He wasn't able to get that going, able to dribble himself to a spot and shoot it from there. Jazz Johnson getting fouled like that, that was the story of this game. I mean, he just got fouled every time he took it into the painted area.
That was one of the narratives. The other one was how good the Lakers were defensively to neutralize the big man inside Jimmy Ritchie and the job they did on McLaughlin. And once again, that's Jazz Johnson was responsible for a big part of that. And Todd, players like Todd who came in there, there's an offensive rebound, a put back. Look at Todd fighting. Just the loose balls, the hustle, the defensive effort. He was outsized by Ritchie, but he put his body on there, and most of the time he was in great position. A few turnovers, a few traveling violations. But Todd, great, fundamentally, just very sound.
Yeah, Jimmy Ritchie didn't ever get himself fully going for Peninsula in this game either. He had a couple good looks at the rim, but Lake Oswego did an absolutely outstanding job on him down low and ended up relying on their three-point shooting to try to keep him in this game as you're still moving along here in the first half. The perimeter shooting was there for the Seahawks, and obviously they go to the left side of the bracket here to take on Liberty coming up tomorrow morning. But they've got the ability to shoot themselves into and sometimes out of every game as you get a look at Jazz Johnson. I mean, he was outstanding in this game, and we'll get final statistics later on and share them with you throughout the afternoon. But as Lake Oswego wins, they'll most likely play Montverde Academy, the #1 team in the nation. Montverde takes on Westview later on this evening in what's going to be a rebuilding year for Westview. Look at Jazz Johnson. He misses this. This is the end of the third quarter. He gets the rebound back, and he knows exactly what he's going to do. Step back deep from the left wing,
That's
nothing but the bottom. And those type of plays, those are the difference in a game like this. Your senior leader making plays, and I love that scoop by Ja'Cory McLaughlin. That's a top